Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
So happy to be back with our friends over in Melbourne, Florida. Yes, it's the Child and Family Consultants, and we've been here talking to Joseph Werner for so long now about the work he's doing and the amazing impact he has on his clients, the family members, patients. I'm not sure what you want to call them. He's also has his doctorate, right? So I don't know. Do I call you Dr. Joseph Werner? You're just so modest and down to earth. So let me have you do your introduction. Go ahead, Joseph. Who are you?
Well, I'm Joseph Werner. I'm an occupational therapist and the owner of Child and Family Consultants here in Melbourne, Florida, beautiful East Central Florida. And with me today is one of our the teammates here we have, which is Grace Sakuma. And Grace is a speech therapy assistant. And one of the things I want to talk about today is how these speech therapists and the occupational therapists work together with the families and the children to form this terrific team that we have that helps the kids and the families make progress. And although the each therapist here does a great job, it's really the team together. Everybody from the office staff to the speech and the occupational therapists collaborating with the families. That's really where the magic happens. And that's really what creates the agency that the kids make their progress from. So it's definitely a team process, and the team process is based on communication, collaboration, mutual respect, and the ability to confide in each other and problem solve.
Beautiful. So teamwork makes the dream work. That should be one of your logos. And Grace,
Absolutely.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. Please tell us a little bit about it, is what you do specifically there.
All right. So thank you for having me. And so in speech therapy is for individuals who struggle to effectively communicate their wants and needs. So what we do, we work with clients as young as 18 months all the way to 16 years old. So we just help if it's an articulation disorder, if they really struggle with producing those speech sounds, we help with their intelligibility. And then we also help with language disorders if they're struggling to find the words to effectively communicate. So we mostly do play-based therapy here at Child and Family, and we find desirable activities, toys, games, and then we target those speech and language goals through that. So our main goal is to just improve effective communication for these kids. And we're a family-centered therapy facility. So I think it's super important for all of the support systems in the client's life to be on the same page and working towards the same goals.
Beautiful. Well, the benefits of speech therapy. I mean, I know personally because I had a nephew who did speech therapy for many years as a child. What age do you start? And let's talk about some of the benefits and some of the things you do to help a child enable and to help the speech.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of studies show that the earlier you start with speech therapy, the better. So a lot of children are getting referred younger and younger now. I think the youngest that I have worked with is 18 months, but even just a little after a year old, you can start to see some of these language and speech delays. So a lot of things that we try to do for little ones who are struggling with a language delay, it's a lot of modeling and slowing down and really engaging with that child. And so we also like to use, with children who have language delays, we like to use sign language, not to really replace their speech, but to bridge that gap.
I remember more.
Yes,
more cheese, more food. My nephew used to, and then my kids, more. That was the one thing that we did in our household, just as, being that we learned that from our nephew. Sign language. I forgot about that. Wow.
Yes, it's awesome. It's so awesome for even children who are nonverbal. They can utilize sign language, or even So sign language is a type of augmentative and or alternative communication device. So that's a low tech, gestures, facial expressions. And then there's also high tech devices like tablets, iPads. So for children who are nonverbal, they can utilize that as well, and they can communicate effectively through that.
Got it. Wow. And how many years have you been doing this for? And just curious, what brought you into this field and how did you connect with Joseph and the facility? I know that's like 10 questions, but tell me whatever you want. I'm sorry, I asked too many at once.
You're fine. So I have been working in the field for about a year now,
Okay.
and I recently graduated. I graduated last December with my bachelor's degree in communication sciences and disorders. And so what really got me interested in the field, I had a younger sister who had speech therapy when she was younger, and I just always found it so interesting that she had just so much progression and she was able to communicate. She took years of speech therapy, but it really improved her quality of life. So I was always interested in it. And I always have known as well that I've wanted to work with kids. So I wanted to be in a profession that allowed me to do so. So as soon as I graduated last December, I wanted to get a job as soon as I could in the field. So I applied at a bunch of places, and I'm
What
originally
happened?
from Titusville,
Okay.
Florida. So I just looked at places that were near me, and I just loved child and families, their goals and what they were working towards. So that's how I connected with Mr. Joseph, Dr. Joe, and I started in January.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. And yeah, what's the age range again of the children you work with? When can you start speech therapy, by the way?
You can start speech therapy as young as, I would say, a little bit over a year old is when they can be referred.
Okay.
But I have some young ones. My youngest right now is 18 months.
Okay.
And
Wow.
my oldest right now is 16 years old.
That's amazing. Well,
But speech,
clearly, go ahead.
oh, sorry, speech therapy is for adults too. It doesn't have to be just pediatrics.
Perfect. Well, let me ask, in conjunction with the other, like Joseph was saying, there's occupational therapists that work with you, speech therapy. What other, what other specialties again, would you mind just sharing for new time listeners that you all encompass here as a unit?
Well, we emphasize the occupational therapy and the speech therapy skills, and we have a terrific front office that helps get
Mm-hmm.
parents and families connected to child and family and helps work out the insurance issues, set up
Mm-hmm.
all the evaluation information and the paperwork. And then we have outside connections. If a family, say, needs additional services from a psychologist or psychiatrist or a medical physician, gastroenterologist,
Got
or
it.
teachers in schools, where we're able to help families find the additional resources that they may need. And this is particularly important because a lot of people are moving into Florida, and of course, they're not familiar with what resources are available. And they can come to a place like Child and Family Consultants, and we can help them get connections with either the Brevard County school system or local private schools, physicians, doctors. God bless you.
I had a sneeze, but I muted it. Not that you couldn't see me sneeze, but it happens.
So we really believe in the teamwork, not only in Child and Family Consultants, but by making these connections and liaisons with all of the community service providers, so that, say, a family moving into Brevard County feels like they're
Yep.
not lost, and they can
Yep.
find the resources that they need.
And by the way, let's remind everyone how we can reach you, the website, the phone number, and talk a little about the areas in specifically that you serve in Florida.
Sure. So Child and Family Consultants is located in Melbourne, Florida. Our phone number is area code 321-768-6800. Our email address is childandfamily@cfl.rr.com, and that's all spelled out: CHILDANDFAMILY at cfl.rr.com. And we serve children and families throughout Brevard County, but we also have families that come from south of us in Indian River County and a little west of us in Orange County, which is the Orlando area,
Yeah.
and the Volusia area, which is north of Brevard County. So we're fortunate that we're able to help families all throughout this east central area of Florida. And
Perfect.
our services, again, we have the occupational therapy and speech therapy, and we work with children from infancy all the way up through young adulthood. We have had infants who I can practically hold in the palms of my hands. They're so small. And then
Aw.
we have young adults who are in their mid-20s, and they're working through, how do they get
Yeah.
jobs? How do they make social connections?
Mm-hmm.
How do they maybe move out of mom and dad's house? So we really are fortunate to be able to work with a very diverse group of children and young adults and parents in this East Central Florida area.
Beautiful. And Grace, what do you love best about working at the office?
I love all of my coworkers and the collaboration, like Dr. Joe was saying. And I love working with the kids and building that rapport with them and also the family members as well. I love building those relationships.
Oh, and clearly you work with a great staff.
Yes.
And Joseph, what else did you want us to know about your services today? And I know we kind of focused on the speech. Just curious, as a speech therapist, that's the correct terminology, right? How long are you working with patients for normally, right? So even if you start at 18 months old, but how long does somebody need it? Or do people can benefit from it for years and you work with a child all the way up till, a baby till they're a child?
Mhm. So it definitely depends on the individual and their speech or language disorder that they were diagnosed with. We have some individuals who would benefit from speech therapy for their whole life, especially if they have autism spectrum disorder or another disorder, Down syndrome. It can really improve their quality of life. So some individuals do need speech therapy for years. But then there's also some individuals, I know, especially when I have some clients who have an articulation disorder, it could take anywhere from a few months to a few years
Yep.
to graduate from speech therapy.
Wonderful. All right. And also, let's talk about adults benefiting from speech therapy as well, right? And
Yeah.
even adolescents.
Yes.
And just curious, some of those, could you share some examples of the older children in a sense, or teenagers or adults? What are the types of things that they need to work on sometimes with their speech? Is there common things that we should be aware of that maybe we could look out for to help our children now?
So a lot of my clients who are older, like teenagers, 16 years old, they have autism spectrum disorder. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things that I work on, for example, one of my clients, I utilize an AAC device because she is nonverbal. So I, teach her essentially how to use the device effectively and how she can request items and let mom know, is she happy? Is she sad? Is she not feeling well? So it's really amazing what speech therapy can do for these individuals. And for adults, there's stroke patients and individuals with Parkinson's disease, where speech therapy can really improve their quality of life as well. And some people have to learn how to talk again after a traumatic brain injury. So speech therapy is really important in cases like that.
Wonderful. All right, Joseph, pop back in there. Where are you? I'm waiting
I'm
for it. You're
up
so
here.
funny. Are you on a rolly chair? You're probably on one of
I
the good
am.
chairs. Okay, good.
I'm a rolly chair.
What do I
Well,
call it? A rolly chair? I don't know, but
rolly rolly chair works. Well, one thing that I wanted to bring up is just that we're in the holidays season now, and of course the holidays can be stressful for everybody, and so we have a couple tips that sometimes we give to families to just help maybe make
oh,
the holidays a little bit easier.
beautiful.
All right, and the first tip is really for everybody to take lots of deep breaths, because with all of the busyness of the season and so forth, sometimes we forget that the real present And in a way, the real magic of the Christmas season too is people spending time with each other.
Yeah.
And I know we were all caught up in getting lots of cool presents and making sure our kids feel like they've got lots of presents under the tree, and we love to see their faces light up when they open up those packages. But it's important to remember that the real present is your presence
Yeah.
in the child's life. And during this holiday season, there's some great opportunities like taking a walk with the kids and looking at Christmas lights at night, uh,
Mm-hmm.
creating little cookie making parties or hot chocolate making parties. And although sometimes we frown on kids, playing video games and so forth, sometimes what a nice thing for a parent to do is to sit down and play the video game with their child
Mm-hmm.
and do a game where you're playing together rather than trying to talk the kids out of the games. Maybe sit down and play with them together. Um,
Yeah.
but and there's lots of opportunities to sit down and family watching movies together
Yeah. It's so amazing.
and that takes some of the stress away from everything. And even kids who have some special needs, the holidays create great opportunities for connecting with families and siblings, and again taking walks and talking about the lights and everything that they're seeing out on the streets, and just standing for a minute enjoying some type of pageantry that you might see going on, or watching a local Christmas parade. There's lots of really fun things that you can do that not only provide moments that kids will remember in their lives, but they also bring those relationships closer together. And all of us, again, really appreciate the presents and everything. But when everybody gets older, if you think back about it, the times that you really remember are the times that you decorated the tree with your mom or dad, or the time that you took the soccer ball out and you kicked the soccer ball out on Christmas Day with mom and dad, or the time that you went for those walks and looked at the lights. You actually will wind up remembering those moments even more than whatever toys and presents you might have gotten that day.
It's so true about making memories. And one thing I learned now, because I have a 6 and 8-year-old Grace, I know Joseph knows, so two boys, but I learned that there's so much in my community with like our public library system. Do you have the same
Oh
things
yes,
there?
yeah, absolutely,
And
yeah.
there was great trick or treat events, cookie making. Now there's all stuff for December that they're free events that people could enjoy and take your child to.
Yeah.
And, even special help there for school and for homework. And I didn't realize how much resources come from the public library. So just putting that out there for wherever you live, but that's always a good thing too.
Yeah, and a lot of it gets back to time, and it's being able to take that deep breath and giving yourself the time to stop and think about, okay, what's something fun that we and the kids can do. And it doesn't have to be high cost things. There's lots of great places. You might have a neighborhood where you can take some nice hikes, or you might have the public library system is
Mm-hmm.
really it's not only terrific, but it's really underutilized. And we have a lot of those great services here in Brevard County too, but people just don't think about libraries because we don't often take the time to go to libraries anymore. We buy our books on Amazon, or we do things on our iPads and so forth, and we forget about the local resources like the libraries or even local theaters and so forth that are available to us, and have great shows and opportunities to do things with not only our families, but with other people too.
Got it. Well, we still have only 4 minutes left in the show. Joseph, what else in Grace did you guys want to expand upon for us today?
Well, I have a one little saying that I wanted to mention, because I always like to have these little quotes, and I have a quote from an Irish um, philosopher and poet named John O'Donoghue, and his quote was, "A friend is a loved one who awakens your life in order to free the wild possibilities inside yourself." And that one of the reasons I like that quote so much is because I'm not sure we here as a staff at Child and Family always get out the wild possibilities that we have, but we really feel like the friendship and connection we have as a staff, as well as the relationships that we make with the families and the kids, again, that's what awakens the possibilities that are within in us both as healthcare providers, people, and also helps awakens within families and their kids the possibilities that they have. And so I really like that that quote, and I wanted to share that with everybody today.
Oh, beautiful. And Grace, did you want to share anything else today?
I just wanted to thank you so much for allowing me to be on the show. This was awesome.
Oh my gosh. Thank me. Thank Joseph. It's his show. I just sit here and I mediate. That's all I do. But I love meeting great people like yourself who are doing great things. And just there's something about, I'm telling you, because I talk to people all day long, right, Grace? But this Joseph, I don't know. He's something special. Is he a good boss?
Oh, he's the best.
Right? I feel like I want to jump through the screen and, no offense, leave New York, come down and work for you guys at the front desk. I could do the phone calls and the scheduling because I like the people aspect of it. But really, he's got this amazing demeanor about him. He's really one of a kind, would you say? How do people, respond to Joseph? Sorry, Joseph, I'm going to put you on the spot. What do they say about him? Because he's so modest and so,
I know. They say he's amazing. And a lot of times here they call him the child whisperer because he just has a special way with these kids. It's awesome. It's awesome to witness.
Oh, well, that's great. Remind us how we can contact you.
Well, we'd love to hear from you, and you can give us a call. Our phone number is area code 321-768-6800, and our email address is childandfamily@cfl.rr.com, and that's childandfamily@cfl.rr.com. And one quick little fun note is that our area code here is 321, and the reason that it's 321 is because the Space Center is up north, and when they wanted to pick an area code, it was 321 and then blast off. And that's how we got our area code.
Yay! Thank you again for being here, for joining us, and we'll connect. Are we connecting before the Christmas holiday?
Yes, we will. Good. We will see each other next Wednesday.
Merry early Christmas, and you're going to surprise me with another guest?
I will. We have another guest. We're going to be talking about nonprofits and working with young adults who have autism.
And feel free to pop back in, Grace. And Pam, and I forgot who else I've met over the past.
And
but we'll see. Heather, yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You're welcome.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.